Well, did Republican policy towards immigration cost them the Hispanic vote? I spoke to South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham earlier about that.
George W. Bush received 44% of the Hispanic vote in 2004. President Bush, 43, understood the Hispanic community. He was a great governor of Texas, and Hispanics felt really good about President Bush. Why? Because most of them are pro-life, like me and you, Mike. Entrepreneurial, joined the military, incredibly patriotic, hard-working people. So in 2004, we're at 44. In 2008, we went down to 31. What happened between 2004 and 2008? We tried, under President Bush's leadership, to pass comprehensive immigration reform in 2006 and 2007. And during that debate, it's an emotional issue. Some of the rhetoric coming out of different corners of our party alienated the Hispanic community. We need to secure our border and build walls and fences where appropriate. But during 6 and 7, we built a wall between the Republican Party and the Hispanic community. And in 2012, that wall got higher because we got 27% of the vote in 2012. We're going the wrong way. Now I'm convinced it's based on rhetoric and tone coming out of certain elements of the Republican Party during the immigration debate.
I know a lot of Republicans get nervous when you use the term comprehensive immigration reform. They say, oh, that's just a blanket amnesty policy. But that's really not it. Describe what comprehensive immigration reform would look like.
There is no way to solve the immigration problem until you secure our borders. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely do. Absolutely do.
That has to be the beginning, because no matter what you do, if you can walk across the street into America, we're going to be flooded with illegal immigrants for years. So get that border secured, and before I would do anything else, I would want it to be certified to be secured by people who live along the border, Board of State governors working with the Department of Homeland Security, where they tell us we've done everything within our power, within reason, to secure the border. After that, we've got to deal with why people come. Mike, why do we have 12 million illegal immigrants? What do they come here to do?
Well, I tell people all the time, Senator, people, come here for the same reasons that our ancestors did, yours and mine. I thank God every day I live in a country that people are trying to break into rather than one they're trying to break out of. I've always said that we need to put the perspective right there.
Well, they come here to work. This is the place where everybody would love to come, because we're America and they come here for jobs. They live in poor, corrupt countries to the south of our border. You know why we're not being overrun by Canadians? Canadians come to Myrtle Beach in March and they go swimming, and we're glad to have them, and I don't know why they go swimming in March, but they leave. They spend a lot of money. They got a stable, non-corrupt government. They're our friends, but they don't feel a need to come to America to get a job. The people to the south live in terrible conditions. They come here to get a job. So once you secure your border, you got to find out a way to make sure you're not hiring illegal immigrants, and give your employer community verifiable documents so they'll know the difference between somebody who's legal and illegal. You need employer verification to control hiring in this country. That's the magnet. So we have a Social Security card. Do you have one, Mike? I've got one.
You bet. I better have one.
You like Ronald? Right. Do you like Ronald Reagan? Do you like Ronald Reagan?
Of course I do.
Well, I'll make you Ronald Reagan by midnight. I can go to the Jockey Lot in Anderson, South Carolina, and get a Social Security card saying you're Ronald Reagan. And if you're an employer and an Hispanic person comes to you and with a card that says, I'm Ronald Reagan, and you say, well, you don't look like Ronald Reagan, you can get sued. So what I want to do is have documents that can be verified for employment. I think we should all turn our Social Security card into a biometric document that cannot be faked. And when you go back to Roger Ailes to negotiate your contract, and Roger, you need to pay Mike more because he does a good job, you can show him a Social Security card.
Yeah.
Roger Ailes, Mike Huckabee knocks it out of the park on Saturday night.
There you go. There you go.
So when you go back to negotiate with Roger, you'll have a document that Fox News can prove very quickly that you are Mike Huckabee. If you did that one thing along with securing the border, it would be hard as heck to hire an illegal immigrant. And if people do under those conditions, they ought to lose their business and they ought to go to jail.
You know, it sounds very reasonable, but there are going to be people in the Republican Party that if there's anything whatsoever that does not severely punish people who are here, Senator, that's been the challenge. I mean, I've paid a huge political price for supporting the idea
yes.
that the children of illegal immigrants should still be treated with respect and dignity. You know, that just was not an acceptable position to take. But I'd never understood, why would we punish the children for something the parents did? So it's a tough issue. How do we get through that in the Republican Party?
Okay. Find an American solution to an American problem. The worst thing we could do as Republicans is try to use immigration reform to create a political advantage with Hispanics. We should create an American solution to an American problem and fix our immigration system for all Americans. It's a national security problem, it's an economic problem, it's a social problem. And the reason I didn't talk about the 12 million is I wanted you to say what you did first. It was not lost upon me. I got the heck beat out of me in 2006 and 2007 trying to solve a hard problem. That's okay. When you ran for president, you took the high road. The 12 million, what to do about them? Some should leave because they're not adding value to our country. They've broken the law outside of illegal immigration, and they should be deported as soon as possible. But there are millions of people who've been here for a very long time. And once we secure our border and get verifiable documents in place, we should turn to these folks and say, if the only crime you've committed is to come here illegally, you've kept your nose clean and you're hardworking, come out of the shadows, we're going to biometrically identify you. We're going to give you a card. You're going to start paying taxes, and you can't stay here unless you pass English proficiency exams. And you got to get right with the law by paying a fine. And you can never become a citizen by breaking in the line. You got to get back of the line. You got to earn your way forward to citizenship. You can't jump in front of people who are doing it right. I think that is the right solution for America, not just for the Hispanic community. And Mike, I'd like to just say one thing about you. When it comes to talking about pro-life issues, you're my mentor and you're my model. We do not have to change anything about being conservative. This election was close. We lost because we're underperforming with a group of people who are a natural fit for the Republican Party. We ran Hispanics away, and we're going to get them back by being socially and physically conservative. African Americans, my friend, support traditional marriage higher than any group in the country. So you don't have to change fiscal or social conservatism. We just got to talk differently when we're talking. We got to talk like Mike Huckabee. When you were governor, you did very well with African Americans because they knew you were fair. So I look forward to rebranding the Republican Party in a way that we can appeal to a wider group of people. And here's the good news. Conservatism is an asset, not a liability.
Couldn't agree more. Senator, thank you, and your kind words are deeply appreciated.